Hi, welcome to the third session of this module, Maximizing Your Professional Network. So your first question might be, just how important is my network? Why is it important to connect with others in my industry? Well, when it comes to hiring, your network is probably the most important aspect of your job search. In fact, even though only 3% of job applicants apply through a referral or connection at their target company, 21% of all the candidates who receive an offer were hired through a referral. So there's a clear gap there. But despite this, only 3% of candidates who did apply to a referral were Black or Latinx. This means that there is a sharp contrast between white applicants and Black applicants. Compare that 3% number to the 48% of white applicants that make up the pool of referral applicants. So the goal for this session is to bridge that gap between that 3% and the rest of the referral applicants. How can we boost our network to facilitate industry growth? So there are three goals for this module. And the first one is branding and professional presence. This is the start to how we will expand our network. So the first step to building your professional presence is professional branding, specifically through LinkedIn content. Now, you might be asking, why LinkedIn content? I see LinkedIn content all the time, and it's pretty entertaining, but how will it get me hired? If you stay in the suggestion feeds and homepages of people in your network, including those recruiters, due to the algorithmic advantages that you will gain, you'll receive significantly more profile views and connection requests than users who are just passive and don't post at all. Posting on LinkedIn also builds social proof. You'll never guess how many times I have looked at someone's LinkedIn profile and it's completely empty. They have the bare minimum, but they have zero recommendations, zero posts, zero engagement. These are the profiles that are most likely to be passed over when recruiters and hiring managers are looking through LinkedIn. But if you post to receive more engagement within your network, it creates a sort of social validation. It makes others more likely to respond to your communications and referral requests because they can see that you are an industry thought leader. And remember, inbound recruiter mail is a definite possibility here too. As long as you have either a referral or inbound recruiter mail, you have a massive advantage in the job market where most people are just sending cold applications. So, how do we optimize our LinkedIn profile? Well, a good North Star to look at is what's called the Social Selling Index. I'll provide the link in this video's description. It's essentially an index that indicates how effective you are at establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, and engaging with insights. This is an example of a social selling index for LinkedIn. So as you can see, not only does it give me a numerical score for each of these core components of a LinkedIn profile, it also gives me the ranking of where I am compared to other people in my network and in my industry. Your goal for right now should be maximizing these two components, establishing your professional brand and building your professional relationship. What else can you do to optimize your profile? Well, using your current role in your description right now on your profile, input your LinkedIn profile into whichever AI model you're using and request suggestions for improvements based on whatever your goal is. And remember, to quickly analyze a LinkedIn profile at a glance, you can always just drag and drop a screenshot of that profile into the AI input field. Be sure to specify that you want to increase the prevalence of trending keywords for positions that you want in your profile. This will greatly increase the number of inbound recruiter interactions that you may get. So, if you're wondering how to use the screenshot of your LinkedIn profile to get a profile review, simply go to your profile on LinkedIn and take a screenshot of, let's just say for right now, your header and your description. So right now, this is my description and this is my header. So I can just grab this information and input it here. And I can prompt it to say, You are a recruiter in product management. And there we go. With just a screenshot and no typing at all outside of that one prompt, we have received a lot of really great info here for how to change both our bio and our header to optimize for the target goal that we have. Next, you've got the LinkedIn content itself and engaging with your network. So, when you get started with LinkedIn content, it's best to start from a high level. So, first, you want to determine your strategy. Pick 3 to 5 core expertise domains. So start with 3 to 5 core expertise domains and go no further than about 5 core domains for right now. You want to also define your target audience. Are you writing for a layman in your industry, or are you writing for experts who already know all of the technical details? Determine this first so that you can better connect with your audience. For the content itself, what I want you to do first is use an AI tool to generate 5 to 10 content ideas and choose one that resonates most with your domain, your target audience, and your goals. Now, this is the most important part of this whole slide. It's important that you write the first content idea in your own voice without any AI tools whatsoever. As we learned in the previous sessions, original ideation should be the baseline of all of your AI engagement. The importance of this very first content idea that you write from scratch is that this is what will be your guiding light for what your own voice will be in all of your content. Make sure you save this writing sample because for all of your future prompts, this will be the tone and the content voice for everything that you post. It will dictate your own professional voice from here on out. And for future posts, now that you have that first content idea written, develop an outline for the prospective post that you want to make, and then prompt AI to create a post with both the outline and your writing sample in the prompt. That way, all AI is doing is filling in the dots of all of the ideas you have with your own writing voice. This creates a much more genuine and authentic LinkedIn content experience while still saving you tons of time of writing. This creates a much more authentic LinkedIn content experience while saving you tons of time off of writing. All right, our second goal for this module is how to really get those referrals and change roles or find a new role if you want. So this first slide is probably some facts that you've likely heard before. When you position yourself for a future role, you really want to target those transferable skills that align with your target role, emphasize measurable results, and incorporate industry-specific keywords. This is because there is a system in place right now that most applications are going through called ATS. Now, ATS is a resume scanner, and you really want to make sure that your resume is ATS compliant before you send it to any companies. I like using the website jobscan.co for this task. Essentially, what you can do is enter your resume into this website, and it will tell you if it is ATS compliant and if a recruiter will actually see it or if it'll get tossed out before any eyes get on it at all. You'll also want to fill in any potential skill gaps between you and your target role. Even if you don't have tons of experience in every single point that the description asks for, you'll want to make sure you at least have a little bit of experience or a project under your belt for larger skills that you do not know. This way, you'll have a leg up in the application process. Additionally, I'll be attaching some resume transformation prompt techniques and templates in the description of this video so that you have a good place to start when prompting AI to improve your resume and make it ATS compliant. Next, let's get into your referral potential. This is the really key part of this section. If you're like me and you have thousands of LinkedIn connections, it can be really overwhelming to feel like you have to surf through all of those people to find a referral and find the best person to ask. Well, you can actually leverage AI to systematically find the best connections to contact for a referral for whatever your goal is. So, how can we do that? First, we want to go to the settings page of our LinkedIn account. Settings and privacy is right here, and we want to go to the data privacy menu. And from here, we want to get a copy of our LinkedIn data. All right, it looks like our data is ready. So we're going to download our data archive with the link that we were just sent through our email.
And as you can see here, the connections list will be part of the imported file that you download. And once you get that, you can enter it into whichever model you're using. And I will link some prompt ideas for how to leverage these connections in the file in the description.
Our next goal is professional communication. Now that we have everything in place for our LinkedIn profile, how do we actually reach out to people? What are the real ins and outs of how to communicate to people in our industry? Well, the first step, and one that gets looked over quite a bit, is creating actually engaging messages. A really common mistake that a lot of professionals make is approaching their network with a very me-centric point of view. It really just hops in immediately with what can you do for me, right? This can sometimes engage your network, but I've often found that empathy and genuine interest gets the most responses when reaching out to others. I highly recommend the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie if you want to learn more about this approach to communication. It's essentially a you-centric point of view as opposed to me-centric. So, what does that look like? How do you create a personal and engaging message when providing outreach on LinkedIn? Well, you're in luck because AI is great for this too. A really good prompt to use is a transformation prompt, right? You give it your own message and you tell the model, hey, transform this very basic message to create something that's engaging. Include a reference to whatever they posted recently, something relevant in their experience, and then include a clear next step so that they know how to respond. Also, you want to make sure that you note that the tone of your message should be professional and warm. You don't want anything that's too casual when you're networking for right now. And as you can see on the right-hand side, the output clearly references the other person's projects, accomplishments, and connects it to your own relevant experience so that they know that you're qualified for whatever job you're about to reach out for. Now that you have that first message sent, I'd like to introduce you to a concept called engagement sequences. Essentially, these are more structured and repeated outreach efforts. They really place an emphasis on value building and interactions over time, instead of just simply reaching out once to make your request. And I think you'll find that they significantly increase response rates because they reduce the perception that your communication is just completely transactional. For right now, I'll just introduce you to a three-touch engagement sequence to keep things simple. So the first engagement that you participate in should be value first, right? We should be sharing relevant resources and insights like in the personal and engaging outreach message that we just sent. After that, we should make sure that we actively engage with their content or their work. Remember, we're interested in a role in their industry. That means that we should position ourselves as interested and as people who are innovative and who are open to new ideas. That means that engaging with whatever their latest work or their latest content is really important in that second part of our engagement sequence. And the third touch should be a direct request. There's no more beating around the bush here. You know that you're engaged with whatever their content is or whatever their current work is. And now you want to make it clear that you're interested. You're interested in working for their company or working with them if they're an employee of a company that you're requesting a referral for. So that third engagement will just be you directly reaching out for a request and with a clear value proposition. Don't just say, I want a referral. Say, hey, I have these skills and it looks like your company and your projects are directly involved in the skills that I have. Would you be open in referring me for this position? And make sure you clearly link the exact position that you're looking for. So here's what that looks like. Here's an example engagement sequence for a product manager who's looking for a new role. So the first time they reach out, it'll just be to share a relevant product discovery that they made. Maybe it's a framework that the other connection might be interested in. Second, they'll engage directly with their connections, content, or an achievement, right? They'll provide comments or reactions and reference this directly in their conversation. And now that that rapport has been established, third, you can finally reach out and mention, hey, there's an opening at your company. I'd love to inquire about receiving a referral for that role. Do you see how this sequence is a lot more personable than just skipping directly to the third step and requesting something right off the bat? I think you'll find that your engagement will receive a lot more positive feedback if you use this sequence. So now it's your turn. What is your LinkedIn social selling index? Check the link in the description and look at what your index currently is. What can you improve on? What are you already doing really well already? Next, make sure to export your LinkedIn data and prompt AI to find the best connections in your network to facilitate whatever goal you have. This is a really efficient way to look through your network. As opposed to scrolling through LinkedIn for an hour, you can use AI to analyze your entire network in a matter of seconds. Third, look at your outreach strategy and think about how you could improve it. Can you be more engaging? Can you offer more value? Can you be more personable or have a little bit more of a back and forth before you engage in requests? Experiment with the methods we talked about in this lesson and experiment with the sequence that we just discussed. Don't be afraid to add or remove any sequence steps to find out what works best for you. Through leveraging these AI prompting and data analysis strategies, we can overcome the hiring gap that disproportionately affects Black professionals. So, what should the learning outcome of this session be? Well, by the end of this week, I want you to increase your LinkedIn social selling index by at least 3 points, focusing in on the specific aspect that you want to improve on. Next, I want you to find at least 3 connections in your network with the LinkedIn data analysis method that we just discussed. I want you to ask them how they can assist you in your professional goals. And next, I want you to try utilizing an engagement sequence while you do that, instead of just simply using a direct outreach. So that's the end of this mini module for now. But in the full program, up next, we would learn how to use AI agents. These are agents that can automate tasks, create systems, and open the door for things like side hustles and entrepreneurship if you want to establish financial independence.